Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show.
What is up? Welcome back for another episode of The Tailgate Show, or should I call it The Tramp Stamp Show?
That's right.
Since podcasts are the tramp stamp of the modern age. What's going on?
Hey, big news in Bears Nation, huh? Ryan Nall got re-signed. I am Jack. Let's talk about it.
Oh, my God.
Yo, actually, that's going to be most of this episode is we're going to be breaking down Ryan Nall, how we see him
he's
fit
a fit.
in the offense.
You know,
I actually
coaches. I mean,
I actually played Call of
if I had
Duty.
my goggles on,
Yeah.
I would say this was a great signing, and it made complete sense.
Yes.
You know, that,
Goggles on.
like, did the Bears really think this would be a good day to fucking tell us this? Like, we're all in the sauce. Like, come on, Russell Wilson.
Honestly, they didn't tell us this. His agent, like Ryan Nall's agent, who probably sells
whoever decided to release this, like, really, we don't want to hear this shit today. We're talking about Russell Wilson. Like,
Mr. Morris is in the
And
chat.
we are already
Rest of
going.
Chi-Town.
it
It
sounds so good.
I'm just saying, like, Ryan Nall, bro. I mean, what do you think he can really do? I see Ryan Nall getting more snaps in the slot. I'm really excited about Tariq Cohen and Ryan Nall, working together. I mean, it doesn't even really matter.
Ryan Nall's like the Mazzell, Burton, like Nagy. Just that's his boy. I don't know what's going on off the field, but
bro, it's creep
Nagy always
status.
has this guy that isn't good, but like he just wants around.
It's creep status. I'm telling you. But no, the big news is not Ryan Nall. The big news is that the QB drama, the carousel, the fucking, nonstop craziness. That
The Ryan
is,
Pace see and say.
Yeah. Like,
It's not going to happen, but at least it's fun.
it keeps spinning, bro. Like, it just keeps on spinning. And today we hear from Mr. Unlimited that he doesn't want to be traded. And this is from Schefter. It's not from another Bears Twitter honk with NFL in their name or some kind of, young doofus trying to make a name for himself.
Yeah, but he's being like that girl that you go out with that's like, I don't normally do this.
Right, but he's saying so Schefter said that he does not want to be traded, but if he is traded, he will only accept trades to 4 teams. And one of those teams is the Bears. And it's the Saints and the Raiders and the Cowboys and the Bears. And everybody just went like
Windy City Gridiron, even though they messed up.
likes us.
No, they crossed out every team, put Bears. Russell wants to go to the Bears. Like,
Right. I like that.
that's all we saw.
Yo,
Bears.
I mean, it's so sad that, like, this is literally where we're at. Like, Bears fans are so sprung, just rocked up boner hard off of Russell Wilson.
Don't act like you weren't, man.
I would fucking love it, bro. But I'm just saying, like,
Russell Wilson.
it's sad that, like, we're literally sprung as hell off of, somebody like Russell Wilson.
Well, think about
deeming
it,
the Bears, a possible destination. Like, it's just like, oh my God, somebody likes us.
Quarterback, a real quarterback.
Yeah, like a Super Bowl champion quarterback, and not like a.
Well, we have
cheap,
that.
Well, yeah, but not like a cheap Nick Foles one, like a real one, like
It's like a
even though the fucking defense won that title, but still.
We're going to get a real cop, not a rent-a-cop. We're going to really police the yard now.
Yeah, it's on.
Cuff him and stuff him, Dano.
Yeah, it's fucking on. Like
the quarterback, the level of quarterback. We're talking about two arguably top 5 quarterbacks in the league that we're talking about right now.
Like top 5 or 6 players.
Yeah.
It's
not even realistic.
Stop.
It's like there's no combine, so the league's just like, let's just throw shit out there.
Let's throw the Bears out there so we can tweak Bears Twitter's nipples just a little bit. Just go pink.
Yes, but listen, bro. Like the league would love it if Chicago had a real quarterback. Like, don't get it twisted. They would love to have a quarterback in Chicago over Seattle. Like, they Seattle's not a good market. It's West Coast. Nobody sees the Seahawks. Like.
Oh, don't even act like they wouldn't rather us have franchise quarterback the length that Green Bay has.
Absolutely. I mean, and do I really believe that the league is going to pull the strings to make this happen? But no. But I think they're not. I think they'd be absolutely fine with it. Like,
I think it's really going to hurt the potentially hurt the players' union if Watson and Wilson are able to do what Wentz did. Like, you got a bunch of players that are killing teams with dead cat. And getting out of there, forcing themselves out of their deals. This may affect contracts going forward with guaranteed money and length.
Oh, it's crazy.
These teams are going to become hesitant to lock guys up too long, and then the players are going to get mad that they don't have any stability. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird to see what happens, man. If these names this big get out of their contracts, it's going to be like an NBA thing. It's going to reshape everything.
Yep.
Well, it's partially, I think, because not only, and I think some of this comes from Twitter and some of it's just sports media, regular media, whatever, but everybody's such a prisoner of the moment right now. And it's like everyone is about right now, including the organizations right now, are all about like crystallizing their legacy right now. You know what I mean? And players, it's like, and that's what everyone's discussion about shit is legacy. How does this affect legacy? Tiger Woods had a car accident. Legacy. Like, people were literally ready to have a referendum on Tiger Woods' fucking legacy after, dude is like having surgery on his legs because he drove his car off the fucking road. Like, we are insane with that shit. So I think, on some level, the Seahawks are just like, fuck it. We don't want to fight with this dude because the media fight that they would have with an unhappy Russell Wilson.
Seattle's pretty chill, man. They've had weed legal out there for a while. They'll be like, hey, man, we really liked Russ, man.
Nah, but they've been around the bend with this dude. With the contract, the contract was tough. They almost traded him already.
I would say they were automatic, just set. They were ready to chill. Automatic, supersonic, hypnotic, maybe even funky fresh.
Nah, man. I think that Seattle and Russ have had a kind of a bad relationship prior to this. I mean, it's pretty well documented. So, like, I think that's where they're at the point is that do we really want to go to war with this dude on this thing? And this is the kind of power that these people have. Welcome to the show. It is Raul Bennington, a.k.a. Black_42, a.k.a. The Impregnator. What is up? Can you hear us? Can we hear you?
I see a light.
I see one little light, like a vape pen lit up in the dark.
You're gonna have to like step your video game up if you open that OnlyFans account, man.
Oh shit! There he is. This is not gonna work for your OnlyFans account.
Yeah, man.
All right, give us your best Russell Wilson.
What's up, man?
Give us your best Russell Wilson pitch. Go.
2 first and the third. Let's go.
That's it. You think the Seahawks are going to eat $39 million in dead cap for that?
Yeah, if we get Russ, that third first rounder is going to be like a second rounder. If we get Russ,
it's going to be number 32.
Yeah.
How can I not hear?
I can't hear. Uh-oh. You can't hear us. What the fuck? What's going on?
I really don't like this Duck Dynasty. Yeah, I don't like this Duck Dynasty joint y'all be having. Everybody uses this app, and it always like messes with me.
Duck Dynasty, he said.
By all means. Oh shit!
Oh, where'd he go? Why'd you kick him out? Okay,
Bam.
you back?
There he is.
Dynasty.
The whole
There he
screen,
is.
bro.
Can you hear us?
There it is.
That's because you be. That's because
What's up?
Raul. Yeah, it's because Raul. You gotta stop recording. Like Raul is recording from the front seat of a 1994 BMW 5 Series. He can't even hear us. Damn it. Fucking Raul. You gotta get in on your Wi-Fi, bro. You can't be out on the cell phone.
He's working on it. He's working on it.
So anyway,
I'll win this argument real quick. I'm gonna send 3 first rounders to Seattle.
Finish it.
Yeah.
3 first rounders.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I say why the fuck not? Because look at the list of first rounders. The first rounder list is trash. Like obviously the Bears' first round picks have been trash for 20 years. Like, I mean, you basically have Greg Olson and Urlacher and like Kyle Long, Kyle Fuller. Like that's it. Like they're like 5 for 20 on first round picks. And they didn't even have. I mean, they actually it's not even 20, right? Like, because they didn't have any for however long.
That's what I'm saying. Like pace first rounders, and they're going to be late. If we get Russ, we're going to be in the high 20s, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's see if Raul comes back. But I just don't understand. And Raul might try to make one, but I don't understand the argument against getting Russell Wilson. Like his contract is crazy favorable. Now I don't know about Seattle eating $39 million in cap and getting who knows what for him. But if they're just fucking saying, you know what, we don't want to deal with
this. Raul hear us?
Can Raul
hear you? Yeah.
All right. So on Twitter today,
if Raul's not willing to accept like giving up 3 first rounders for Russ, it's because the strip clubs haven't opened up yet. He's just being salty, man.
That's it. I know Raul has some spots. He's got some COVID-proof network that's going on.
Yeah. Underground.
They're not official, but they're still spots. But so check it out. Everybody, of course, on Twitter is just coming all over themselves for fucking lack of a better term over Russell Wilson.
I only did once.
Right, but one man was not. One man, Raul, was out there on Hater Island putting up a bonfire and saying,
"I want
no." And it's not a new fucking thing either. You've been preaching this crazy notion that you shouldn't overspend on a quarterback, and you've been banging that drum for a minute. So tell us, Raul, why should the Bears not get Russell Wilson?
Okay, so this is the way I'm going to explain it, and I think I've explained it before, and I think people get caught up in narratives rather than actual factual football, right? Actual factual football is you want to have the best total team possible. Those teams go into the playoffs. Those teams win Super Bowls, right? It's cool. It's so great to see, Drew Brees versus Aaron Rodgers. But that's why those cats, as great as they are, have only won one, right? And the simple fact of the matter is this. Outside of Tom Brady, right? And we'll get to the Tom Brady narrative in a second. Teams that overpay dollar-wise or pay a lot dollar-wise for quarterbacks, right, tend to not make it to the title game and definitely don't win it because of a lack of total, team depth, right? Because it's the balance just isn't there, right? You're going to spend high on one position and then go low on the rest. Now, when you couple that with multiple draft picks, you're shooting yourself in the foot because what you supplement with your cap is younger players and younger players on cheap deals. This is why quarterbacks that are on their rookie deals tend to win the Super Bowl a lot more because you can fill holes and have high tag free agents at other spots, right? I liken it as this, and I'll shut up in a second. It's like the stock market, right? You have your shorts and you have your longs, right? Your longs are your rookies. Your shorts are your free agents, right? So if you put all of your money, all of your resources in your portfolio on a short, right, and that short doesn't hit, or that short for some reason something happens, you're gonna lose so much money that you're gonna have to get out of the game. That's the same thing with quarterbacks, free agents, and draft picks, right? So you don't want to have your portfolio lopsided one way or another, right? You want to diversify as much as you can. That's why the Patriots won and continue to win. That's why Tom Brady was able to win with Tampa Bay. This whole narrative that they won because of Tom Brady is absolute bull. If you look at Tampa's last 3 drafts, those 3 drafts have panned out. They've been striking gold, and Tom Brady signed for $25 million a year, which is cheap, and they didn't give up any draft picks.
Right.
So that narrative that is just Tom Brady is crazy to me because that defense was one of the best defenses in the league. They had
and he had great defenses most of the time with New England. Like, it's not like he didn't. I mean, people go into the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady argument, and that's what a lot of the Brady haters like to bring up is that dude has consistently had a top 10 defense his whole career, except for a couple of seasons. And then, it's like, and then 1 year, we throw you Randy Moss, like, come on. Like, but you're right.
If you get Russ, though, you're talking 19 on the first year, 23 on the second, 27 on the third. I'm taking that all day.
And that's fine. But I don't think Russ is going to just say, I'm playing for this tag. That's the thing. If Russ is not coming to Chicago without a new deal this year or next year.
Right, but that means you can get the cap down even lower for this season. But I will agree with you about this, Ro.
No, he gets his money. He gets his money. He gets that contract he has.
Right, but they can renegotiate it. They could add the years to the back end. They can get the cap down for this year, probably, maybe even.
We paid 18 for Glennon. I'll pay 19 for Russ all day.
Oh yeah, of course. But that's just
they didn't pay 18 in one season.
Yeah, I think it was
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That's you thinking that Russ is not going to say, "Hey, up my bread." I think Russ is going to get a new contract. That's just my.
But why wouldn't you at this point? Why wouldn't you give Russell Wilson a 5-year deal?
Because you're paying more. It's all about. It's like this. You are going to be up against the cap already, right? And then you're going to want to still sign some of your young players to have around him so that you can actually win. But
that's the thing is that like Russell. You get Russ, and like I think things will start to happen. Like he's a magnetic dude in the way that Brady is. Like people will come and play for less to play for the Bears to win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. Like that's just a game changer. Like I get what you're saying, and I think the stock analogy is on point and all that. But I'm here for a good time, not a long time, man. Like I need to see some shit before I die, and I need to see a quarterback on this damn team.
Like imagine we would have finally had Lynch on this team coming back as a third down back. Like how fun would that have been a couple years ago if we had Russ?
No, let me rephrase this, okay? Let me rephrase this. Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever watched. He's a new age quarterback. I've liked him since Wisconsin.
So what kind of drugs are you on trying to tell us not to get this dude? Come on, Raul.
No. It's like this. Honestly, it's like this. You want to have a sustainable winner. You want a team that has multiple cracks at it, multiple legitimate cracks.
No. I just want to party for 2 years with Russell Wilson as my quarterback. That's it. I want to
here's
party
my
with
argument.
this defense. I want Khalil Mack and Russell Wilson on the same team. This is Madden. Fuck it. That's why you bring in Russell
1 year
Wilson.
Wilson will probably we'll all have numbers. We'll all have his jersey.
Yeah,
you know
like
what
I
mean?
could die off of that. Like if Russell Wilson takes him to the NFC Championship game and they go like 13-3 and he has some 400-yard, 4 touchdown games, bro, I am straight. Like I will put that in the memory banks. I will retire from Bears fandom on that.
Dude, we get to the second round of the playoffs, it's a wrap. There's gonna be a parade.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Though. Well, I am so tired of seeing Bear teams that don't get over the hill. I want to see that championship. I want to see a perennial good team. I'm tired of bad football. That's where I'm at with it.
But if you put Jared, go ahead, Jared.
The 06 team and the 85 team were built on what things? They were built from the draft. Your Super Bowl teams are built from the draft, period, point blank. You have to hit on the draft.
Well, I think they have hit on the draft somewhat, and then you add an absolute star to the mix. We're not talking about fucking, like Andy Dalton.
Charles Leno's going to be
talking about
brutal, though.
He went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman.
But the thing is, Leno is going to be so exposed if Russ is here.
You think Ifedi isn't telling him what's going on with the line here? Like, Ifedi and Russell Wilson are boys. Why would he?
It's the only first-round draft pick he ever got at line for the Seahawks. That's the only one he ever got.
I don't know.
I know, but I'm saying, I guarantee you that why would he say he wanted to come here? He knows the situation.
No, this is my thing. Like, if you're going to get Russ, you're going to want to put everything around him for him to win right now, right?
Because they're going to throw the ball to.
Yeah, if you're giving up 3, it's like it's such a counterproductive. If you're talking about 2, right? If you're talking about 2, even if Russ gets injured this year, right? Okay, fine. If next year we still have it, in the following year we have a first round pick. If you're talking about 3, you don't see a first round pick for 4 years. That is huge.
Russell Wilson would have Anthony Miller in the Pro Bowl, bro. Like Russell Wilson is a career maker. Like you telling me Tyler Lockett is special? Tell me how Tyler Lockett does away from Russell Wilson. Update me, please. It's the next Deion Branch syndrome.
How's Russell Wilson do when he's stuck in the pocket between the tackles?
Yeah.
Bro, did you see his stats?
Did you watch him playing?
40 touchdowns and 13 interceptions and 4,200 yards. And then that doesn't even count bringing his rushing yards, bro. He's a monster.
If you keep him in the pocket, he is very beatable. And
oh my God!
But I mean, I love Russell Wilson, but I also know for a fact in football, you need way more to win than just one position. We did the same thing with Khalil Mack.
But we're gonna have a top 6 or 7 defense next season.
That's the deal, if you ask me. With Seattle, if you're gonna do that, you got to send Mack. Because they've been looking. I'm just saying they've been looking for a pass rusher on that defense for how long?
They don't need it now. If they trade Russ, it's a full rebuild. They're not looking to pick up salary with a $39 million dead cap.
What about that trade that somebody threw out there? It was Hicks, Graham, and someone else with 3 first rounders.
Foles, Hicks,
that's
Graham, and fucking 3 first rounders.
And we get their 4th.
And we get their 4th in 2022. It's the most out your ass.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. It's just dumb.
Nobody wants Graham or Foles at all. Those are non-commodities, especially Seattle.
Yeah, this is dumb. No, if they said we want 2 firsts, right? We want 2 firsts and a second next year. I'd be more but okay, I understand, right?
2 firsts and Roquan.
No.
Bro, you could find another linebacker.
Oh, it's possible that you could find another linebacker.
I don't know.
What do you do with Trevay?
I don't know.
If you're like this, if you're really serious about going for it all, right? you want to keep as much talent around Russell Wilson as possible. You've seen that Seattle has talent, but they can't get over the hump because they don't have enough talent to get over that hump. Even with Russell, you don't want to fall into the same trap. So getting rid of somebody like Roquan or Khalil Mack is counterproductive. Getting rid of
also
if
Quan's the Mike, you don't want to get rid of that guy calling plays. Like sometimes can be a real transition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like bring somebody in. That's an important.
Well, I mean, that's a huge. This is way putting the cart before the horse, I guess. But that's probably the third or fourth biggest issue on the Bears for next season is the backup linebackers, which is stupid. But Iggy and Woods, they can't play football, so they absolutely must be replaced.
But you got a new defensive coordinator. Whoever the Mike linebacker is, the guy that's bringing the players into the huddle, like. You can't have a drop off there. You need that transition to be smooth.
Yeah. So, but I get what you're saying, Raul, and we don't have to talk about Russell Wilson anymore after this. But I get what you're saying. Seattle is kind of the example of why you don't do what they did with Russ, which is basically they decided to keep Russ and they had to let everybody else go, and they lost their entire defense. And yeah, they got lucky with fucking that receiver,
DK.
With Metcalf, and that's cool, and that was a solid pick, and I mean, I think John Schneider, is a hell of a GM. I think somewhere in the back of his mind, he feels like I found Russ in the third round, I could find another one like him. Yeah. Like I think they believe at this point, they're like, listen, we tried. We gave it one more shot with this dude. Like we can't rebuild the team with him. It's not worth the fight. So let's see what we can get for him. And then if they don't get the right deal, then fuck it. Then they say, okay, well, we're just rolling on. But I mean, they'd be stupid to not sit there and field offers. I mean, there's going to be someone stupid like, I don't know, the Chicago Bears that will literally give up anything. And that's the flip side of what I was saying is that I feel like maybe just like everybody throws the Bears in the mix because it just gets the oil spattering. Like every trade discussion, you throw the Bears in it, it's like poof, and it fucking catches fire.
To be retweeted 100 times, yeah.
And half of Bears Twitter is getting played by some, Philly media and everything, and getting all sprung and whatever.
Oh, those dudes that have NFL in their name, man. Oof.
Yeah, all those clowns. So like, I mean, that's just the Bears being in the mix. I mean, we were talking a minute ago about how, all the Bears fans are like fucking beside themselves because Russell Wilson likes us. Like maybe we're not as terrible as we think. Like maybe all of our self-loathing, even though we secretly love it, is really not.
We're desirable again.
Yeah, like, he thinks I'm pretty, and it's like
it's like that first chick after the breakup.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, hey. And she's like, hey, how you doing? It's like, hey.
Oh,
pretty good about me,
Russell Wilson's agent is a genius to throw the Bears in the mix.
Yeah.
And I believe that Russ, I don't believe that Russ would have him say something that's not true because Russell Wilson's definitely like a total herb. Like, I don't think he's like shiesty at all. I don't think he has I think he's actually like super genuine, and I think all those teams are teams he actually legitimately wants to play for. But it doesn't hurt to have the Bears in the mix. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think that Russ has a real, a real reason for choosing the Bears. I think, just for legacy standpoint, I mean, Russ is a Hall of Famer, but if Russell Wilson wins a Super Bowl with his first Super Bowl, it was like, young dude, and he's not really the focal point of the team. But if Russell Wilson wins a Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears, the historic franchise, and goes down in history as the best Chicago Bear quarterback of all time, it's like you're talking about him as a top 5, top 10 quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
This is not even a question. This is a part of his legacy. Plus, his wife is Sierra. You want to get more exposure, you go to the third largest market in America, Chicago. But that's also why he also named Las Vegas because there's a lot of monetary opportunity right now in Vegas. So like all of those teams, and he mentioned the Saints. I don't think it's realistic, but down there too, it's like with Sean Payton, makes things a little bit easy on him, right?
Yeah.
So all those teams make sense. Chicago definitely makes sense for him. Plus the Wisconsin, thing.
Well, I could honestly see a scenario where Carr and Russ switch places.
Yeah, that's possible.
And basically like the Raiders extend Russ and the Seahawks extend Carr and they make it work.
The problem is that dead cap that Seattle has to eat.
And I know, but if they extended Carr, Carr has a $19 million cap hit. Yeah, they would be absolutely fucked for a season. No doubt. I think
the only way they trade him before June 1st is if like all of a sudden Jacksonville came to them and said, "We're going to give you the number 1 overall pick right now."
Yeah. Well, how much is the dead cap after June 1st?
I think. What were the numbers? Shit.
I think they can go. I think if it's like after June 1st, they can split it up. But if it's before, I think it's straight up $39 million.
But they can spread out the hit if they designate it, right?
It's a $39 million cap hit. $39 million cap hit if it's before June 1st.
Right.
If it's after.
I think they can split it up if they designate him for after June 1st.
Yeah, that
makes things tough.
They have to eat $39 million if he walks. Now, if they release him after June 1st, it would be $13 million the first year, 26 the next. So like they could spread that hit out.
Yeah. Which makes sense. So what do you do as a Bears franchise in this case if this is a guy that you want to try to pursue?
I don't think it's realistic, man. It's just fun to talk about.
I don't think it's realistic either.
Again,
it's a smoke screen. We're going to get into.
Yeah, I just think honestly, like where they're at, where Virginia is at on her, like almost she's on the last half inning of her life right now. She wants to see some shit before she dies. While she still can, I think why the fuck not 4? I don't care 4 first rounders. I don't want to give up roster talent, but. Honestly, like I would give up 4 first rounders for dude.
4? Can you give up 4? I thought you could only give.
Yes,
3.
on draft day you can trade your current and then 3 after. Yeah, because it's a new league year.
No, I'm talking 3 total.
No, you can trade 3 futures.
Oh no, I know what you're saying now, but I'm only talking 3. I'm not talking.
No, I would if no roster talent is involved, I'm willing to say 4.
So I'm talking immediate future. As of June, do you make a push before June? Do you wait till after June?
You would do it on draft day.
You have to make a push before June because you have to set your roster and you have to know exactly the direction your team is going. So
into the draft,
this deal is gonna come. Yeah, if this deal is gonna happen, it's gonna happen before the draft. Way before the draft.
Yeah. You know
I hope it would happen after June though, because then we could at least have a first round pick this year.
Yeah, but it just won't. Like, there's too many teams that need to know what the fuck is going on. Like, if you have Russell Wilson, it completely changes your draft. And if you know now that you don't have your number 20 pick, like you can't. Like, they could maybe figure it out where they designate him as June, and they don't really do it. I think they can finagle it that way, but
yeah.
Well, just for reference, Max trade wasn't until September.
But the Max trade was a little bit different. Yeah, the Max trade was different. This was the Mac that was disgruntled. The Mac trade, I think, would be more like the Deshaun Watson trade. I think the Russ trade is different.
The Mac trade kind of kicked off like a change in how shit has gone down, in my opinion. Like, because they were at such a stalemate for such a long time, and then finally the Raiders broke down and traded him. Since then, you've seen how the OBJ thing went down. You saw how the Antonio Brown thing went down, which I think the OBJ thing was a direct result of Antonio Brown. Like, the Giants were like, fuck it, we're not letting that happen to us. You want to go bounce then, And I think that's what teams, because the players now have such power in media and social media to drag these teams the way that they can. These teams don't want to fuck around with that. They are fighting for their own legacy and their own piece of the social consciousness, just like the players are. And the players have power to absolutely shred these organizations now. And so the teams are just like, fuck it, it's not worth it, because to the bottom line, the PR hits that they take now and the league takes, and the league's like, you know what, like, this is not what we want our fans to be bogged down with, is this drama. So the league is just like, shut up, let the trades happen, let these dudes move around. It's great for the product. I mean, this many quarterbacks changing teams like this is fucking gold for the product. Like, the NFL loves this shit. They love it.
It's just like the NBA.
Yes.
The NBA.
They love it.
No,
and guess what? Then they're going to get 18 games before you know it, and every fucking team is going to make the playoffs, and that's all they want, is to sell us hope. They would love it if every team was 8-8 except for like 3 of them.
So what I'll say is this. Wherever there's smoke, there's fire, right? I don't think that Russell Wilson is to step out the window and say, oh, these are the teams I'd like to be traded to, if there wasn't something. And with it, like, this has been rumors since the end of the season, right? Russell Wilson came out and said, oh, I want more. I'm tired of getting hit in Seattle. That came out of nowhere. Before then, people were saying, yeah, Russell might be a block, right? So where there's smoke, there's fire. I think Russell is trying to force his way out, or trying to take control of the team, and the aspect of new contract and him dictating the type of team that he wants.
Well, and he's tired of having an old-ass Pete Carroll defensive-minded coach. He's basically looking around like, I see what is being done for these other quarterbacks. I see Aaron Rodgers getting LaFleur. I see fucking, Mahomes with his coaching staff. I see, these quarterbacks getting Arians, letting Brady run the show. He sees that and he's like, that's what should be for me.
That's what I think. I don't think Jacksonville will happen, but Darrell Bevel's in Jacksonville now. That's kind of Russ's boy. So I don't.
That would be bananas. Like, if Jacksonville really traded for Russell Wilson, that would be. I just can't see that.
But I mean, why would Russell Wilson go to Jacksonville though? Like,
I hear you.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like the thing about Russ is Russ has conquered Seattle. They love him, but the market's just not big enough.
He needs to win too.
Going to a smaller market.
Well, you could argue the Saints is a weird choice because it's so unlikely, because their cap situation is absolute tire fire. Like they're like $200 million over the cap. Like, it's like somebody was asleep at the wheel. Like, and that's what scares me about everything the Saints do. Makes me so afraid for Ryan Pace even more. Like, when they hired Ryan Pace, I was like, why are we holding up the Saints as this fucking, like, perfect model organization? Like, why are we taking the Saints trash and being like, this is treasure? Like, look at this. Like, and why is Ryan Pace even a fucking hot commodity? Like, what have the Saints done? And listen, they've had some drafts, especially lately, but all their best drafts have been since Ryan Pace left.
Yeah.
Like, and their best fucking draft was the Kamara Lattimore draft, and it was after Pace left, and Pace was over here fucking up the Bears.
There's rumor that Lattimore might be out too.
What, he wants to leave?
I think I saw something online where he was talking about Cleveland or something.
Yeah, he's on his contract too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, and then they got a volatile team down there. Like, can you imagine if Jameis Winston ends up being the whole face of that team, and you got crazy ass Mike Thomas and Kamara and fucking now Lattimore's tripping out? Like, that team's got a real powder keg feel to it. Like,
I think Jameis still has potential, though, man.
If Drew Brees tries to come back, somebody's gonna hit him with their car in New Orleans. Like if he decides that he wants to come back, they're gonna be like, "No, you don't." Like they're gonna hire the team doctor from the Chargers and handle Drew Brees if he tries to come if he tries to come back, bro.
I honestly think he comes back. I think that Drew Brees comes back.
Oh my God, what? How?
I think he comes back.
Really thought.
If you're going to retire, right? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? It's February. It's March. What are you waiting for?
Let's see if that shoulder's going to rehab. If he can just get a little more spin, just a little more. Always chasing that high, kind of like the Bears are with a quarterback. We're always chasing that high of a quarterback.
I really think that Drew Brees comes back.
That's crazy. Like that's just madness.
It's like Big Ben. Just go away, bro. Like just go away.
Yeah, but Big Ben's got a lot more game left than Drew Brees.
Yeah,
but he should be in prison though. So I'm just saying.
Yeah,
right. That's true, but that doesn't really affect him on Sunday. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just anyway. I agree with what you said that everything is gonna be crystallized before the draft. I believe. I don't think we're gonna be wondering about a lot of these dudes. Come draft time. So speaking of draft time, as our resource on Twitter for draft information, I want to know who you're looking at, who you are getting hyped about, who are emerging as your deep sleepers. Give us some knowledge.
So it depends. Like there are a couple of scenarios in my opinion. Right now, I think I am. If I'm talking the first round, I've been saying it, but I think Devontae Smith is somebody that is possible for the Bears in the first round. Devontae Smith, wide receiver from Alabama. I think you're looking at somebody that's like a Marvin Harrison / T.Y. Hilton clone. The guy's ability to separate, lining him up with Mooney, A-Rob. You have to be the world's worst quarterback to not be able to get them the ball. You feel me? Like it's not even.
Don't challenge the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find him, Raul. Don't worry.
And then I would say my next person on the list would be Rondale Moore, from Purdue wideout as well. Yeah, I think this team lacks explosion heavily, but
I saw some cut up on him, calling him I think they cut together some Steve Smith and some Rondale Moore, and I was like, oh damn.
I watched him play a lot. He's pretty good. He's fast off. He's fast off the line. Real fast.
Yeah, I mean, with Rondale Moore, you're playing a 2-man game because you're playing a 3-man game. You're daring teams to cover Cohen and to cover Rondale Moore while covering vertical with Mooney. It's like you're putting defenses in a tough position, right? That's why the Rondale Moore pick for us is just like. I think it's like a seamless fit. It's a hard cover, especially if we can get a move tight end. Teams aren't going to be able to, really, keep a safety over the top for Mooney and also have somebody checking in on A-Rob because Rondale Moore is going to absolutely eviscerate you across the middle of the field.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I think that and maybe you argue with me, but I think that the days of like these big, tall, over the top outside receivers are kind of like that's not really in vogue anymore. Like those dudes are really not, out there the way that they used to be, and because receivers now realize that like they can't. It's not smart, I think, as a college receiver to pigeonhole yourself like that, and so you got to learn the whole route tree. You got to be able to play in the slot. You got to be able to play everywhere. So you can't just be this like big loping, like, outside receiver. Like those dudes just don't, they don't really happen anymore. I think it's kind of
there was
surprise,
a receiver. There was a receiver mocked to us in one of the mock drafts. I forget where he was out of though.
But I think what the Chiefs and other teams have shown is that you can have these smaller, fast guys, and they can still get wide open, and you can still throw the outside the hashes like deep ball, but you could throw it to these dudes. Like you don't need some 6'6" guy, that whole thing. Like if you're gonna draft the 6'6" freak guy, it's gonna be a tight end. You agree? Anyone? Bueller?
Oh, we dropped? I didn't know we dropped.
I don't hear Raul.
I was going to ask him about this.
But don't you see that? Like I don't really see a lot. And that's why I think Kadarius Toney that's kind of climbing the ranks.
That's who Daniel Jeremiah mocked to us.
Whoa! It's double impregnators. What's happening?
Wow. Shows for the ladies tonight, I guess.
Jared's back. So I don't know. I just
Charlie. So Raul, it was a kid Tony out of Florida that they had mocked to us.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney. I mean, I value Kadarius Toney as in the second, third round. I think he's really good in the slot. The sleeper wide receiver that I'm just like, man, you got to.
They had him mocked to us at 20 overall. Daniel Jeremiah.
Yeah, that's too high for me. That's too rich for my blood. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. I just think that you can get a more impactful player at that spot. But Jalen Darden from North Texas is the type of player that gives you Mooney vibes. And he's like, he can be had maybe in the fourth round. Small dude, but the burst is absolutely insane. 4'3" guy, shifts break like a Porsche 911. Good hands, separates. Like he's just one of those. He reminds me of like Emmanuel Sanders coming out of SMU. Small school guy, but can ball. He can hoop. So that's a guy, a lower round wideout that I would definitely be all over.
The Kadarius Toney hype is starting to feel like the KJ Hamler hype, a while back. Last year, right? It was last year. It was KJ Hamler hype. Yeah. And not that dude isn't a good player, but like I just don't know if he's really special. I think now you see Kyle Pitts, as climbing up. I've seen him climbing up into the top 5 on some people. Like I think Mel Kiper put.
Do you see what Charlie Casserly did? He had Justin Fields going to the freaking Steelers at 24. I'm like, if Pace lets him pass, he drops that level. I'm like, no way.
Bro, Mel Kiper said that he thinks that the 49ers are going to trade up and take Fields at like 7 after.
I saw people, every quarterback's going to be gone by 9.
Yeah, like he said today that the Falcons are going to trade up and take Zach Wilson. And
I mean, honestly, go ahead. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think that I really can see Justin Fields slipping. I can see him falling. I don't think he slips out of the top 12, but I can see a lot of GMs saying, I got questions about that guy.
Well, and you're on record as saying he's your number 1 quarterback in the draft, correct? Haven't you said this?
Absolutely. And I'll say it again. I said it. Remember, the year that Lamar Jackson came out, I got lambasted on Twitter because I said he was the number 1 quarterback in the draft. He was the top 3 player in the draft.
Jared doesn't like Lamar.
Why?
No, he likes Lamar. He just doesn't think that they can win it all with Lamar.
Why not? If you got the right.
Why not? He just needs to be. He needs to be a better accurate passer down deep. That's all.
It's easy. It's easy to be. It's hard to be an accurate passer when your receiving core is pure trash. They're dookie. They have one receiver, and it's it's Hollywood Brown, and then it's just who else? It's like it's unfair for everybody to question Lamar Miller accuracy when he doesn't have the right people around him. He doesn't have who are his receivers? It's literally Hollywood Brown, who can't stay healthy every single year, who's more
Right.
of a slot wideout, and then
Right.
he has a tight end. That's it. He doesn't have anything.
He's got a lot of tight ends.
Yeah,
No, he
but that's
doesn't.
it. You can't win.
But
with
that's
just
what the
tight
offense.
end,
Yeah, but that's what the offense dictates too.
Anyway, Justin Fields. Justin Fields. Here's what I could see about Justin Fields. One, I think the knock on him is that Ohio State quarterbacks traditionally suck. Like Cardell Jones, people liked him, and it's like, Dwayne Haskins, people liked him. You could go back and back and back. The Ohio State quarterbacks, for whatever reason, it's like the same knock on Alabama. They got so much talent around
Mitch
them.
Trubisky, man, they all liked him too.
All they do is run the ball. Yeah, but I'm just saying, Ohio State. Well, that should have been the biggest red flag for Mitch, is that he didn't even get into a school in Ohio. You're Mr. Ohio football, and you got to leave to go to North Carolina.
Oh, it worked out for
red
Joe
flag.
Burrow. It worked out for Joe Burrow.
But he started at Ohio State.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
bounced.
transferred. But he didn't get in. Mitch did not get into Ohio State. I guarantee you, Mitch had no offer from Ohio State. Guaranteed. He would have gone to Ohio State if he had one. He wouldn't have gone to North Carolina.
No, he might have had an offer, but he couldn't even beat out the guy that was in North Carolina.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He would
There's
just
so
be a
many
water
red
boy at Ohio State.
So, but what I think about Justin Fields is that he's a combination between the high ceiling prospect and the guy that's
Fields, yeah.
But I think he's been in the big games and played against the top competition. I think he's a good blend of all that. Has the ceiling, has the tools, but he's also been in the big games. And I think this is a different Ohio State team. They throw the ball. This is not,
There was a point where he had only thrown 3 interceptions in his whole career prior to, I'm going to guess, I think it's the IU game, and IU turned him over 3 times.
Yep. Yep. And I think that's when people started turning on him, because the idea is everything was too easy for him. Even though you see him go up against Clemson with a dang knee injury and is still out there hooping, balling. And it's you have to take things into context. The Big Ten came back when was it, October? Spring ball, everything. He was still getting into the full of things, and he's not perfect. And now you have good defense, So people try to hold that against him. I think it's just hogwash, and I think it's just people that overanalyze, And I don't see how you can put Zach Wilson or Trey Lance ahead of him. I honestly think that Justin Fields is the number 1 quarterback in this draft, and I'm not changing it.
I don't know why, and I've said this on this show a few times, but I don't.
You think he's better than Lawrence?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I'd be interested to see, and I said this the other week, is that I wish we could just plug and play and find out what these dudes would really do in different situations. If you were to put Justin Fields with Dabo in that environment and let him loose, you would see some shit. I guarantee you. Because look at the dude behind Lawrence that came in and played. He's got some name that I can't come close to pronouncing, but he came in and was lighting it up. Nobody had ever heard of dude.
Yeah.
Well, it was against Notre Dame's defense. So.
I mean, he was the number 1. He was the number 1 college prospect though. In his
right,
class. That
but
that kid.
I'm not saying he's not a top recruit, but I'm saying nobody knew his name, and except for draft heads.
I mean, I just think
I would just love to see Justin Fields in that type of situation. I think he would light it up.
Yeah. What more do people want to see from Justin Fields? How do you lift up somebody like Mac Jones? Now Justin Fields. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Because he's a black quarterback from Ohio State, and people just can't see it. That's what it is. It's straight up, they can't see it. and people will convince themselves that a less mobile quarterback from Alabama who's a goober white guy, they can visualize it because they've seen it.
You really
before.
think Jones is going to go before him?
No,
I don't
It's
see
possible, man.
only because
it's possible.
That's crazy.
I don't think Fields slips that far. I don't. I really unless
everything I've seen is the third quarterback taken.
the way that I've seen, I could see him slipping is that somehow Deshaun ends up in New York, right?
Except for old ass Charlie Casserly that thinks he's going to fall to 24, which I just think is.
Well, Charlie Casserly, bro, is like a real life dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like
No,
that
I know
dude-
that's crazy.
Like
But this
Charlie
is the-
Casserly,
this is the
I mean,
thing.
you know, like, come on, that guy has like a Metamucil drip on his arm. Like, come on, like,
I didn't think.
I'm pretty sure Charlie Casserly drafted Sid Luckman, bro. Like,
he had some drafts back in the day though.
back in the day when the draft was like, you know, the draft was like in a fucking Ramada with folding tables and like fucking there was no TV and then like, come on.
No, but I mean, I would not have thought that somebody was going to draft Mitch Trubisky over Pat Mahomes. I never would have envisioned it. I was like, no.
But
way,
people called it out though. Like Kuiper called it out.
Yeah,
fucking not Field Yates, but the other dude.
Him or Watson, though, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because this is why. Because the NFL is about selling a product. They're selling a product, and they have to sell the product to middle fucking America. I mean, straight up. And it's harder to sell that product. Like, and it's weird to think that Ohio State fans are more progressive than like the middle bulk of like NFL fans, but it you know, like they're used to seeing that. But I think it also has to do with the failure of Dwayne Haskins. I think it has to do with the failure of Cardale Jones, who wasn't like a high pick, but I think people thought Cardale Jones could play. I think it has to do with the history of those, you know, of that. And then, I mean, there's a better recent history of Alabama quarterbacks. Yes, there's your A.J. McCarrons and your trash and whatever, but recently you've had Jalen Hurts who transferred. You've had Tua, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
You've had, like, Alabama starting to change the narrative about their quarterbacks. So I think it's a little cocktail of, like, old school NFL racism, which is always prevalent. And then there's the way that schools can't seem to get out of their narratives.
There's really no excuse for it.
Yeah, I mean,
I know what you're saying, but I'm just.
It just
I don't.
old habits die hard.
True.
Like, it's just, and I think on some level they also teams want to sell their products with a certain type of, and that's exactly why Ryan Pace picked Mitch Trubisky, and it wasn't like straight up, I like white people and not black people. It was, he bought the narrative of this kid, and he thought that the talent was also there, and then he also wanted to be known as a fucking genius. Like, so, you know, he was out there. Go ahead, Jerry.
It's bad enough that the NFL this year gave extra picks to teams to hire minority coaches.
Right.
So you can't deny that. You cannot deny that they don't have a race problem because they do.
It's a nepotism problem, and when you have a huge organization that's always been run by white dudes, it's going to take a long time to break the cycle.
I just think Pace did a bad job scouting the kid and really thought he saw some Drew Brees in this kid because he was around Drew Brees.
But he loved the story.
He fucked up.
Yeah, but he fell in love with the story. And I don't know how you don't fall in love with the Deshaun Watson story.
Well, everybody had Trubisky won, though. Let's not act like most people did.
Sure, I mean, yeah.
But that's what Aaron is saying. Is the issue is you've created a mold, right? And you've casted this mold, and you can't get away from it, right? Mentally, you envision the quarterback as that big chin tough guy that, you know, like that Peyton Manning guy. So then when you see somebody like Lamar Jackson, you're like, this guy can't be a QB. You still got people till this day saying he should be a running back, and he was the NFL MVP a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? There's like,
I get that, but with Deshaun Watson,
right?
like,
It's a mold.
well, that's what I mean. But like with Watson, he has that warrior thing with him. He wills his college team to win. Like he's that dude. You know what I mean? There's no question with that. Like,
it's inexcusable, but I just think he also, they buy into the narrative. What I think is going to be really interesting this season is without a combine, which to me is always felt like some kind of weird.
I love. Sorry to interrupt, but man, I love the fact Lamar came in and said, "No, I'm not trying out to be a wide receiver. I'm a quarterback," and he came out and balled. Like that's
exactly.
But who was smart enough to take him, Ozzie Newsome? Like there's only there's still. I mean, people talk about how many people passed on Deshaun Watson and Mahomes, but 31 teams passed on Lamar Jackson. I mean, the Ravens themselves passed on him once. Like,
but that's the thing. Is like, and the NFL is stuck on this mold. Like, Sam Darnold is trash. Sam Darnold is not a good quarterback.
Nope.
He's not good at all. But Sam Darnold is going to get another chance because he fits the mold. And like A said, it's old habits die hard.
Well, and because he came from USC, and USC quarterbacks get the benefit of the doubt in the minds of these GMs and in the minds of the fan bases.
Who besides Carson Palmer? Sanchez for like a minute?
Yeah, but think how many mediocre quarterbacks, whether it was Matt Castle or even John David Booty, like people were talking about John David Booty like he could actually fucking play football. Like every damn USC quarterback and the Pete Carroll and the few years after that era of USC football, which was so
Carson Palmer was legit though.
Yeah, yes, but that was it. I'm talking about the Pete Carroll era, the Mark Sanchez, the Matt Castle, the John David Booty, the Sam Darnold, who's post Pete Carroll clearly, but like there was this run of USC quarterbacks that were just given this credit. Even fucking Matt Barkley, like people, give him fucking credit like he did something because he played at fucking USC. Like that just gets you credit. If you and it's unfortunate. Even fucking Power 5 schools, like top schools, some teams just like you just don't get credit for playing certain positions at that school. Like it's like, oh no, we can't see you. Like we just can't visualize you.
They're playing running back at, I don't know. Name a school. Penn State.
Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many years the Giants would draft whatever running back from Michigan was coming out. It was like, oh, it's time to take Jared Bunch.
Big Ten running back in general.
Yeah, and sometimes it works. If you keep taking Wisconsin offensive linemen, you'll probably be cool. Like that's a decent trend to follow. Like if you just keep taking those dudes, they're gonna pan out eventually. Notre Dame with the tight ends and the offensive linemen. If you keep taking them, you're probably going to be fine. Like Georgia linebackers. Like if you just keep, like that shit, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, and sometimes they just can't break out of these molds. Like
Georgia and Bama, a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those have just become like overall football factories, and they're starting to get to the quarterback. Georgia, not so much, but I mean, they had Stafford, I guess. But Stafford wasn't
Georgia
even.
Georgia has a quarterback coming out.
Huh?
They have a quarterback coming out next year. That's going to be a first.
Georgia
pick.
Does.
Well, Newman was supposed to be the quarterback this year, right?
Yep.
Well, you even think about Cam Newton. People forget.
I would have liked to see Newman play this year. I think it would have been good for him.
I know you're talking about Newman, but made me think
he was supposed to play for. He transferred to Georgia.
Right. Well, and the Cincinnati kid too, right, Raul?
Yeah,
he stayed in. He's in. People are talking about next year's quarterback draft being not as good as this one.
Well, if you remember, though, they talked about the draft with Mahomes and Trubisky and Watson. They were saying early that there wouldn't even be a quarterback taken in the first round. They were not high on that draft
Yeah.
class.
Yeah. People don't know. Joe Burrow came out of absolute nowhere.
USC has one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. USC has Slovis coming out next year. My boy from UNC and
Yeah,
Rattler from
Howell.
Oklahoma. I mean, there's
Howell.
about 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if
That.
So if you're the Bears and you can't make a move on Wilson and you can't move up in the draft and you're stuck at 20, do you yourself say take whatever quarterback falls to you or best player available and try to get a guy like Newman in a second or third, or how would you play that out?
Me personally, because I'm a person that feels as you don't have to be thirsty, because once you're thirsty is when somebody's going to get you. What I would do if I'm the Chicago Bears, if I'm Ryan Pace, I would be calm. I would let the board fall to me. If somebody like Jalen Waddle, Moore, or Smith fall to me, I'm going to take them. In the second round, I'm going to take my tackle because there's so many tackles there. And then in the third round is when I'm going to start playing around. I'm going to trade. I'll try to use a second rounder to trade down a bit as well and recoup a fourth rounder. You feel me? And then I'll start playing, and I'm going to build my team and my offense that's going to be so rugged that I can go into free agency and get a Cam Newton. And I know people are like, Cam Newton sucks. Well, you got to take things into perspective. Quarterback comes in to a system that, has been ran by one person for the last 60 years during COVID. Doesn't get into camp until August, right? Learns the playbook real fast from August till September, and then catches COVID after game 4. And then has his 2 basically second-year free agents, rookie free agents as his top targets. What do you expect? You feel me?
So you can make that same case for Foles, though, right?
Huh?
You can make that same case for Foles, though, in a sense.
Well, I think Foles and Cam have a little bit in common in just I'm not sure about their physical. I worry still about Cam's arm.
No, Cam's way more athletic than Foles. He's got more.
Oh no, I know, but I'm just saying, like physically, I don't know if they can play as that well anymore. Like, I agree with you that Cam had nothing in New England, but he did have Josh McDaniel. But if anything showed us how bad that New England offense is when the fucking Stidham came in the game for like a quarter. I mean, it literally looked like a bomb went off in the backfield. Like Stidham was just a fucking train wreck. So it should give you some appreciation for what Cam has left, because at least Cam had the offense looking like a professional offense most of the time. Like, with nobody, with fucking, like some retread, North Carolina dudes. Like, what's the fucking receiver they got from Arizona? I mean, they literally Nikhil. Like, they have nobody, bro.
And then Julian Edelman got
yes.
It's like literally.
Yeah, they also had 8 guys opt out on defense.
Exactly, and then the old line was decimated.
Yeah, they lost their best tackle for opting out.
Yep. Their rookie tackle got hurt. It's like you couldn't make a more perfect storm. And it's not like the Cam came to the meeting like, "Yo, we suck." He just said, "It's on me. I gotta play. I have to play better." So it's like I'm not saying Cam is 2015 Cam Newton, but what I am saying is Cam can still be a 23-10 guy and give you 3,800 yards and still give you 500 yards rushing. I think he can do that.
Do you think Cam Newton could win over this fan base?
Absolutely. If you give Cam Newton like just picture this, okay? Just picture this. You give Cam Newton, we get a right tackle. You get somebody like Devontae Smith, A-Rob, Mooney, Cohen back, and Montgomery, and then you can get a move tight end. Cam Newton is going to be comfortable, relaxed. He doesn't have to win games. He just has to be there and distribute. He doesn't have to be Superman. I absolutely think I think the Bears could post a top 15 offense with Cam Newton and that roster.
So
Yeah,
I want to go around. Which do you think is more likely, Cam Newton or Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson? Aaron.
I think Russell Wilson is the most likely of those three.
Okay.
Of those three, of Deshaun, Cam, and Russ, I think Russ is the most likely. I don't see the Bears are far too cowardly, and Nagy and Pace are far too over their skis to pin anything on Cam Newton. They're too scared to bring in.
They need a savior.
Bring him in. I could see Cam Newton ending up in New Orleans. I could see.
I don't know why you get. I think Jameis would take the helm before Cam did.
Maybe not.
Between those three, Brian, go next. I'll let you go next. We'll let Roll have last word.
What I think is going to happen, Gardner Minshew.
He's not of those three, which is more likely.
I'm just probably Cam's the most realistic, man. I don't see Russ or Deshaun even available. To be honest, like it sounds good, but yeah, Cam.
Roll.
Russell Wilson.
Really?
I think the Bears are going to make every push possible to get Russell Wilson for two reasons. Pace and Nagy want to save their jobs. This ensures them at least 2 more years, right? And also it gives Powder Tits Virginia hope for the next year that she can see a winning team.
He said,
right? So I think they're going to really go full out for Russell.
Plus,
I'm not shocked if the Bears.
It makes so many parts of the fan base happy.
He said powdered milk. Basically, that's
yeah. She got chalk in those in those fun bags.
Woo.
It's like
all right.
I would say
Ovaltine comes out and George gets a glass, stirs it up.
Ryan, stir that powder, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan
of
comes
those
in.
Three, I'd see Cam, but I think if I was going to rank it, I'd say Cam, then Deshaun, then Russell.
Likely you see the Bears signing Cam Newton.
I'm saying available, man. I don't think Russ or Deshaun are going to be available.
I think Russ is available right now, and we didn't talk about it, but Deshaun, it was reported by Mike Garofalo that Deshaun talked with David Culley and basically told David Culley, no, I'm not playing for this team. I don't care who the fuck you are, and nobody knew who David Culley was, not even his mother before he got hired. They found the most journeyman of journeymen. It's this dude's been, holding clipboards for fucking 20 years. And they're like, oh, we didn't get Eric Bieniemy, but we got this dude. Come on. You think Deshaun Watson's an idiot? He's get the fuck out of here with this. And Lovie Smith, they thought Lovie Smith was going to talk to Deshaun Watson.
I mean, I don't think
we'd be like, you signed a contract, Deshaun. I don't know what to tell you.
So if Russ and Deshaun end up moving, that also gives us a great opportunity to move up in this draft and get a quarterback.
Yes, it
right. Does. If those two dominoes fall, it's going to change everything. And even if the Bears don't get either one, which they may not, because once these dudes become available. And the Bears are operating from a deficit. That's what was so crazy about what Russ said today, is that to think that straight out he actually wants to play for the Bears is mind-boggling. Not because the Bears suck, but just because we're not used to hearing that, right? Color didn't want to come to the Bears. He just got told to come here.
Who?
Color was a childhood fan, though.
Yeah, Color wanted Chicago.
I mean, but as much as Color wanted anything, remember that doofy ass dude with his fucking haircut. Like, I mean, when he came here, like, come on, like he wasn't like he didn't have any sway. Like Russell Wilson could have said any team, and he said the Bears. Like that's still crazy to me.
Yeah. No, I really think the number one option for the Bears going forward this year for quarterback is Russell Wilson. I really, really think that's the number one option. I think they're fixated. I think that they're going to.
Oh yeah, it's a great option.
A trade package, and they're gonna. Yeah, I think they're gonna make the full court press. I think that they sniffed around Derek Carr, but I think the whole time, I think the actual big fish that they've been trying to reel in is Russell Wilson, and I think that Russell Wilson knows it. And I think they're trying to, either Russ is using the Bears or Russ really wants to come over.
I would be hyped. I can't lie.
There's a report that came out. There's a report that came out that said said the Bears were hard on reaching out. Like they reached out a couple times to Seahawks just to inquire.
Yeah,
I read it today. I don't know.
How would you feel if Ryan Pace didn't go after any of those quarterbacks, let them move, and then moved up in the draft? How would you feel about Ryan Pace then?
There's nothing that's gonna ever make me like Ryan Pace, but I think that would be not a smart move, but it'd be less the move that would be less catastrophic. But again, who's he gonna go after? Because
Mormon Mitch, it's gonna be Mormon Mitch because yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I wouldn't be too mad at Zach, but Matt Jones is what I'd be like. Okay, God, we did this again.
I just feel like they would almost be spending as much to move up into a top 5 position as they would to go get one of these quarterbacks. Like, so that's my problem. Is like you're just short of the 3 first-round draft picks in order to. I mean, you still get that pick, I guess. But I feel like you're going to have to give up 2 to get 1,
So, I mean, my point is we talked about Carson Wentz and Chris Ballard. Basically, they did a Ryan Pace to Chris Ballard and bidded him up to get a conditional second that could turn into a first next year. Or not, yeah, next year.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
I would kind of be all right with Ryan Pace kind of letting the field play itself out and then making a move at draft time, like you were talking about, whatever is available, leave it out till then. Don't make any moves till then, as far as quarterback goes. I mean, it'll drive Bears Twitter absolutely fucking insane, but I think that's the smart move, and I would feel pretty good about Ryan Pace, actually.
I can't wait for Chris Ballard and Howie Roseman to get fucking exposed. Because both of these dudes are idiots. The amount of draft capital that the Eagles gave up so fucking much for Carson Wentz. Like, it's insane. They traded up twice. They gave up so fucking much for Carson Wentz, but they get a total pass because he almost won an MVP, supposedly, and they won the Super Bowl because, Nick Foles went on a heater and the fucking Patriots defense gave up 500 yards. Like, this dude gets so much fucking credit. And then Chris Ballard, like, I'm sorry, but the Phillip Rivers move was just stupid.
That shit happened here, but we won a ring. We'd be all set.
I agree, but we act like Chris Ballard is like the second coming just because he picked Quentin Nelson. Like that took some genius level thinking. Like that, Quentin Nelson was such an obvious fucking prospect, and I know we argued with dudes on Twitter and
especially with the quarterback position the way it was in Indianapolis, where he was getting killed.
Yeah, like that was obvious. That was the most obvious.
He got Q, and then he got Leonard in the second. Man, that was like.
Listen. He's made some good picks. I'm just saying that Rivers followed by Wentz, I think, is going to put a serious dent in his, in what his legacy is going to be, or the way that we think about him soon. Now, if Wentz turns it around, then him and Reich are going to look like geniuses. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if Frank Reich and Chris Ballard are all they're cracked up to be yet.
No, I'm just saying. But if you draft the first and second round, two guys that are like franchise-altering players, because that's what they are. That's a pretty damn good start.
Oh hell yeah! I wish the Bears had that draft instead of fucking Shaheen instead of Roquan and who else did they fucking get?
Daniels.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad. That isn't a bad couple of picks, but it's not.
Quan's a beast, right?
I'm right, but the Leonard is almost as good, if not as good. Like,
I mean, so far Leonard is better. So far, Leonard is better. I mean, you have to give.
Roquan's still young though, man.
Ballard props. He's a good.
Well,
guy.
supposedly Pace tried to trade up to get Quentin Nelson. But he didn't get him. Like, and he tried to, and it came out later that he tried to trade up to get fucking our boy. God damn it, Komet. He was gonna take Komet even higher.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He's such a clown.
Yeah, supposedly he was gonna trade out the late first, early second. To get
at like 37, like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so Quan's only 23 years old. Leonard's 25. Quan's young, man.
I'm not worried about Roquan. I think he's going to be fine. I think hopefully Desai gets them back to doing more shit that works for everybody involved, for Eddie Jackson, for Roquan, for everybody. But I'm not worried about Roquan. I think he's going to be fine. But it is, I mean, for them to pick Leonard in the second round is a fucking steal. Like,
well, it means a lot of teams missed on him too, though. So
absolutely. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I think this is a real make or break year for fucking Ballard. Like, it's like, yeah, you got all this cap space, and you got all these picks, but what are you going to do with it? Like, are they going to re-sign T.Y. Hilton? Like, I mean, are they going to franchise him? Like, you know.
I mean, let's face it. Him and Pace are really close to being the Spider-Man GIF, where they're just like pointing at each other. It's like,
not really. He came in and lost the franchise quarterback.
Like, yeah,
that wasn't a whole different deal.
He came in and drafted one that he thought he would be, but he never had a franchise quarterback to begin with. So,
well, he's going into an organization that had two back-to-back though. Like, Pace is coming into a whole nother shit show.
I'm just saying, I don't know what Ballard's done yet, and this is a year where I think he's got to do something. Like, I don't think that Phillip Rivers move was such a fucking great move. I mean, I guess they got unlucky because the AFC is so good, but I mean, you really watched Phillip Rivers lose late game after late game after late game and said, yeah, let me get some of that. Like, that was really your.
I mean, I think Ballard has done an admirable job. I mean, I think he's kept their cap low. He has. I think the Wentz trade is terrible, but other than that, I think that he's been decent. You know, like he's made the playoffs 2 or 3 years, and they lost a franchise QB. And
right. I'm just saying it's time to. I need to see.
And they got Eason ready to step in whenever needed too.
I don't know if that's gonna happen. Where's Chad Kelly at?
No about that. Swag Kelly, I like him.
Yeah, where's Swag Kelly at? Somebody needs to give him a shot. Like, what the fuck?
Buffalo picked him up, man.
Can we put him in that video game? Where's that Johnny Manziel fucking league? Can Chad Kelly get in there?
Johnny Manziel, sorry.
Yeah, can Chad Kelly get in that remote control football or whatever the fuck it is?
I thought Buffalo gave him a tryout or something like right before the playoffs.
Did they? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, all I know is that they got Jake Fromm. I don't think any team can hold Swag Kelly and Josh Allen. That's a lot. That's
too much. That's too much swag for one.
Yeah, it's just too much fucking gunslinger. Like, you can't have two of those dudes.
Well, we held Tyler Bray all these years.
Yo, like. How the fuck is Tyler Bray the offensive coordinator for the Falcons? Like, how did that happen? Like, and nobody thinks that's fucking weird? Like everybody's like, well, he's been around and he's well respected. And
What happened? I don't think he is he?
He's the fucking Tyler Bray is the offensive. No, not Tyler Bray. The other dude. No, the other dude. Fucking Ragone. How the fuck is Ragone the offensive coordinator for the fucking Falcons? I mean,
they've been speaking highly of Ragone for years.
Right, yeah. But who has been speaking? Like the masters of the 28th ranked offense in the league think Ragone's the shit?
There's been talk about him becoming a head coach at points. He's just really well respected around the league. I don't know, man.
Why? Like, that is the most horse shit.
All you got to do is go look at the Rams defensive coordinator.
Right. Who was like the run game coordinator for the. Like, I don't get it.
It's crazy.
I mean, I've heard of Tyler Bray being the next man up for a while, so I'm not too shocked. He's the one that is one of the play designers in the passing.
Yeah, we're going
for the Bears, so I'm not too shocked.
But what is? Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I just feel like I just think it's weird how this shit happens. Like,
there's a lot of insider trading. It's like, hey, we got this guy. We'll bump him over here.
Yes. Well, my thing is, it's pure nepotism. But like, my thing is like, so the Falcons are going to give another shot. They're going to give another shot with Matt Ryan because they would even, if they were to trade Matt Ryan, they would eat like $45 million.
Hey, time out. That's next week's flavor of the week.
Yeah, but that's just that. I mean, that's
Matt
crazy.
Ryan to the Bears.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's not demanding a trade. Like, not at all. Like, that's not happening. So I don't know. Like, I don't know who. So to recap, your guy is Jalen Darden, North Texas. That's who you're calling out, right?
Yeah. As far as wide receiver, yeah, I'm definitely calling that guy. What's his name? I love Jalen Mayfield for the right tackle. There are a couple of players that I think that we could really make an impact with. But in the first round, if we're sticking to the first round, I think it's gonna be. I want to see Devontae Smith, and I want to see more. I want to see those weapons in Chicago.
What if one of the quarterbacks is on the board though? What if Trey Lance is there? Somehow.
I mean, I would still take Devontae Smith or Rondale Moore, but I know how this league works, so I wouldn't be mad at Trey Lance. It's just that when you get Trey Lance, you have to realize what you're getting. You need to be patient. The guy isn't going to come in and light things up. You need to be patient. It's going to take like 2 years for him to actually be the player that you need him to be.
Right. Well, in some ways, though, like, wouldn't that buy them more time in a different way? Like, if they could at least, like, if he's at least exciting, like if he shows flashes and he looks the part, like he gets in maybe the second half of the season and he puts up some numbers and he makes some splash plays. Like, I could see them if there's some positive momentum and people see him as a guy who's probably going to end up panning out. I think they could, at least Nagy can stick around. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to. Yeah. Sometimes I think maybe Nagy has more staying power than Pace. But honestly, like I've said this before, I think Pace has gotten Nagy some talent that Nagy straight up failed to use. Like, I can't trust or respect a coaching staff that throws Rashad Coward out there again and again and again like that.
Yeah. That is true. I mean, but I don't like Pace at all, and I like Nagy better than I like Pace, but I don't like either one of them. But I think that Pace should not have a job.
I agree.
I think Pace should not have a job at all.
I think he's fine at the smaller later picks. I just think when he takes a big swing, he misses so badly that it may.
That's why I would almost applaud him for being patient in the draft. I will almost be like, "Oh, look at him being patient, letting the draft come to him."
I think Pace knows how to get powder on his hands. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
powder milk.
I don't think can say that, oh, I failed with the premium picks, but I succeeded with the lower picks. I think that's a lot of luck, and I think that's like, like your okay, this guys had 4 top 10 picks. Only one of them has been successful in the Bears uniform, and that's Roquan. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I don't mind getting rid of 3 to get Russ here, because I don't because I know Pace will fuck it up.
And people want to give him credit for Anthony Miller, who hasn't really panned out. Ultimately, he traded up for him. People want to give him credit for David Montgomery. He traded up for him. Like, you know, and it wasn't necessary. There were other more talented players at that position that went later in both cases. So, like, a lot of his hits that people are so, you know, all about are kind of questionable. I mean, like,
people put Daniels as a hit and Kmet as a hit, and I'm like, you guys your expectations are so low that you don't know how stupid that sounds. Cole Kmet has done nothing in this league.
Nothing.
Not yet.
Daniels has done nothing in this league. He's been, okay. Cole Kmet's not gonna be much of anything but a blocker, but it's okay.
No, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that in a few seasons. All right.
Well, I'm here for it. But you know, any player that isn't complete trash, they're gonna list them as an accomplishment.
Right.
Like, all right, whatever, man.
Right. Well, that's the thing too, is that like we get all excited about his like hidden gems that he finds. Every good team has these dudes that they find off the street when injuries arise. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, we give Pace so much credit for just every little thing that goes right because we're so used to everything going wrong.
So it's disappointing about the Null signing. Kind of like Marlon Mack, if we can get him to back up.
It's because it's the same old bullshit. If you subscribe to the fucking weird, like, eyes wide shut loyalty cult that they got going on up there, then you're good. You're good to go. You're Ryan Nall. You're going to get 4 plays a game no matter what, even though you're trash. Like, you're just in.
I just figure we might be able to get Mac affordably because he's coming off an ACL.
Yeah, but that's too smart.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is like, this draft is also deep at running back talent in the later rounds. So I don't think you have to sign Marlon Mack because that's just wasted bread. But people like Ryan Nall should not be on your football team.
There is
you don't need to.
Yeah. I think there's a really strong chance that they try to run it back more than we think they're going to.
We got Pierce too. We don't know what the one little thing we saw.
Well, they signed his running back coach,
right? That's true.
And it was also Ryan Nall's running back coach.
I mean,
so.
No, it wasn't. He left before Nall.
I mean,
he started after Nall.
So
I think
the kid Jefferson out of Oregon State, he's a hooper. He can hoop. So he's somebody. If you could get him in the 4th, 5th round. Yeah,
maybe that's the move.
Pure explosion, like pure sticks his foot in the dirt and he gone. That's just it. If you go back, he ripped Ohio State 2 years ago or 3 years ago. He's outside of injury. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the top 3 rounds.
Yeah,
that might be the move why we brought the coach in.
That might be. I'd be happy.
I have said that if the Bears don't get Dak or Deshaun or Russ or somebody, I haven't said Russ because I don't think Russ is really an option, but I had said Dak or Deshaun. If they don't get one of those guys, I want the guy with the limitations that basically Nagy has to handcuff himself on, because I don't want the guy that makes Nagy think he can open shit up. I think they need to be running that more of the whatever that Bill Lazor Nagy hybrid shit is. More rollouts, more play action, more stuff like that with whoever they get. I don't think Foles can obviously run that stuff, but what they don't need to do is go full Andy Reid and try to do that with substandard players.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. instantly A-Rob, Demo, Cohen, and Mooney become extremely dangerous threats with Russell Wilson. I mean, I think the three biggest beneficiaries for Russell Wilson is Demo, Mooney, and A-Rob. I think A-Rob becomes a 1,400-yard receiver, easy.
Yeah, if they get Russell Wilson, I think A-Rob re-signs and the contract negotiation moves very quickly.
Yeah. Yep.
Like A-Rob would be like, "Oh, cool."
So that's a plus. If it's the 3 first-rounders, I can't stomach.
Yeah, but we're gonna waste them anyway. That's the thing. Like,
and we're gonna get guys to join on just to win.
I mean, I just think the 3 first-rounders, like, who are they? They don't even like. You've got a franchise quarterback for the next probably 7 years.
What's the hit rate? What's the hit rate in the first round? Like 30% chance you might hit, maybe.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit high, but I'm not sure.
I would think of all the drafts, though, this one feels like it could be a very important draft for a lot of key positions. Like you said, tackle is deep. Receiver seems to be fairly deep.
Yeah.
How about a franchise quarterback? What if I told you I could get you a franchise quarterback out of this draft?
I guess that'd be hard.
No, I'm saying you could. You trade for Wilson.
I think there's talent on this roster. Like I think if you put not Calvin Ridley, but Riley Ridley on the Seahawks, I think Riley Ridley would get run. Like I think Javon Wims could get some run. Like I just think we haven't seen, and I blame Nagy and I blame Mitch, but I don't think we've seen the most out of the talent that they have gotten. So I would be okay with them getting Russ and spending on the offensive line.
Miller would eat too, man.
But I would rather see them spend
I think Miller would definitely eat.
Like spend on the offensive line instead of signing Allen Robinson for $20 million. You sign the best free agent tackle and you draft the tackle later.
No. I disagree. If you're bringing Russell Wilson in, you lock up A-Rob and you say this is what we got. You don't let A-Rob in Chicago.
I don't know. I could also see them. Why wouldn't they? What if they could if they could sign the best tackle out there with that?
What if they could bring in Galladay instead?
Or what if
Galladay
this is the move that I've heard some people talk about, so I didn't make this up, but they tag Allen Robinson and they trade him to the Ravens for Orlando Brown.
You know what? That just doesn't make sense to me. The reason being is, and I know he's younger, right? But you're still going to need weapons, right? So you're creating a problem and solving a problem while creating another problem. Allen Robinson is a premier wide receiver in this league. If a quarterback is coming over, he's coming over because he sees Allen Robinson and says, that guy is my security blanket. So what you can do is you can still, in the draft, get you a tackle, right? You can get you a young tackle, and Charles Leno is not going anywhere, right? You need a right tackle. Charles Leno's contract is too affordable, and you can't cut him.
Right. But with Russ, you're losing number 20 off the rip.
Yes.
So you're going to have to get your tackle in the second round?
Absolutely. And there are copious amounts of tackles in the second round that can be had. If you can get somebody like Itchenberg or my personal favorite, Walker Little from Stanford, they can plug and play from day one, right? You can even get some in the
that's fine.
round.
Or you get another Notre Dame boy on our line.
Well, he said Eichenberg, yep.
Yeah.
Hudson from Cincinnati. Yeah. Hudson from Cincinnati or
he's nasty.
What's the man's name? The kid from Ole Miss. You can fix that easily, right, but you don't give up.
All right, fair. So I like that plan. Then fine. And then you cut Massey, and you extend Fuller, you extend Hicks, you bring Robinson back. And
a lot of talk about bringing in that center from KC too. I don't know why, but I guess I get why. But
I don't.
I would let mostly for a rock. I don't see what the
Yeah,
value is.
I agree.
You know, I would let him rock, and then I would literally have an open competition at right tackle with Daniels versus Notre Dame kid. What's his name?
Eichenberg.
No,
Bars.
at right guard.
Bars.
Bars. And I'll have an open competition, you know, with Bars, and then somebody, you know, the rookie, you know, is sliding off to the right tackle, and I bring in Iffy back as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool, man. It's good to have you on. Appreciate all the knowledge. I think we pretty much did the thing. We talked the Russell Wilson thing around and around and around, and I got convinced for it and against it and back for it again. So I'm with it.
I'll buy a Russ jersey now if we get.
And
that.
we got everybody will, dude. I think they'll unlock number 3 again for him if he comes. They'll take it away from Bronco or whatever, whoever's got it. You know, so
didn't Rick Meyer rock number? He rocked 13 for us, right?
13.
Yeah, no, they didn't give him 3. 3's retired. I think it's Bronco, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, they're gonna unretire it for Russ. Special fucking delivery. You see how, speaking of which, you see how Pittman told Carson Wentz, nah, you can't have 11.
Yep.
Pittman's like, I'm going to be here longer than you, bro. Like, don't you're not having my number. But anyway, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
Dude, thank you. It was awesome.
Have a good night. Always good to talk with you. And everybody follow Black_42 on Twitter. He's got all the best tweets about the draft and a bunch of other ridiculous shit too.
We love the ridiculousness. That's what we're here for.
Yes, we're here, and maybe next time we'll get some story time with Raul. Huh?
I'll have some for you, I promise. But I appreciate you having me on. I got to get me back on before the draft and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, man.
All right, cool. It's just another episode of The Tailgate Show.
The Bears.
Fuck, it's late, boys.
The Mr. Unlimited.